Hey, y'all. Welcome to the replay. If you're watching this on replay, let me know. Acknowledge your own presence, honor your own presence by saying hey in the comments. I'm excited for this conversation that we're going to have today. If this is your first time here, welcome to Confidence Coaching for Her. My name is Mo James. I am a certified confidence coach and the founder of this brand, and everything that we do through this brand is designed to support women like you activate your courage so that you can show up in confidence for yourself every single day. And what I want to talk about in this conversation is why saying if it's meant to be is a setup. Okay. So I'm excited for this conversation, y'all. This is real life. Okay. Everything we talk about here is real life, it's real world. You might not get these types of conversations in other places, and that's okay. My job as a confidence coach is to equip you with what you're going to need as you move through your own confidence journey, because I know how powerful you are. I just need you to know how powerful you are so that you can start to show up for yourself in an empowering way. So let's talk about why saying if it's meant to be is a setup. Why that sets us up. How that doesn't allow us room to do the things that our life requires us to do in order to move it forward and create the vision that we have for ourselves. So, short, real short, if you wanted to stop watching after I say this next thing, telling yourself if it's meant to be is a setup, because that phrase is oftentimes used as an escape hatch for your responsibility, for our responsibility. It's also sometimes used as a cover for fear. So let me tell y'all a real story. When my husband and I bought this house, the house we live in right now, we had been looking to buy. We had been driving around, looking in different neighborhoods, looking at different places. And I remember when we started the paperwork to uh, to buy this house. We've been in this house now. We've been in this house 8 years. My relationship with this house is predates my relationship with y'all. So when we started the paperwork to buy the house, put in our offer, and our first offer for the house got rejected. And so I was like, that's it. Boom. I'm not doing this anymore. Forget it. Right. I was ready to be done. And interestingly enough, my husband was like, no, we're going to do it again. We're going to submit another offer. He didn't. I was ready to abandon the process. And he was like, nope, we're going to try it again. I used the phrase, well, if it's meant to be for us, then we'll get it. To which he replied, if it's meant to be for us, we need to go get it. And so I recognize I'm having this conversation with you now, 8.5, 9 years later. And I look back on that experience and I recognize I was using those words, if it's meant to be. I was saying, well, if it's meant to be, I was saying that because I was afraid to want the thing. I was afraid to put myself out there and say that this is what I want and get my feelings hurt. I know I'm walking up somebody else's street when I say that. I was afraid to be hurt and disappointed again. I had already been hurt and disappointed when we put the offer in and the seller was like, nah. I was like, oh, they don't they don't want our money. I was making it all about me, right? My husband, on the other hand, was like, no, we're gonna re-engage. This is a negotiation. We're gonna negotiate. I was trying to use, well, if it's meant to be, then they'll change their minds. I was using that as a cover to not try again because I was afraid that if we tried again and we got rejected. I see I was making it all about us. I wasn't making it about the offer. I was afraid that if we tried again and we got rejected again, my feelings were going to be hurt again, and I was doing everything in my power to avoid that. So when we say, a lot of times when we say things like that, we say, well, I want this, and if it's meant to be, it'll happen. I want to have this, and if it's meant to be, it'll happen. I want to do this, and if it's meant to be, it'll happen. We don't realize that what we're actually saying is, I'm not going to take the action. I'm going to wait to see if the thing I said I want just shows up on my doorstep. It does not give us the room to acknowledge the part that we play in actually making the thing happen, the part that we play in preparing the environment and preparing ourselves for it to happen. I want to be married. I want to be in a relationship. I want to buy a home. I want to get a new job. I want to relocate. I want to do all of these things. And then we say, if it's meant to be, it'll happen. We cut our own selves off at the knees. We cover our fear with pretty flowery words. We remove ourselves from the equation with saying if it's meant to be. This phrase can become a slippery slope because it then turns into our justification to be passive in what we say we want. We get to just, well, I mean, if it's meant to be, it'll show up here, right? I mean, it'll be here when I wake up in the morning. But that's not how life works. That's not how this thing works. It doesn't address us getting our minds right, getting ourselves prepared so that we can receive the thing when it shows up. Saying if it's meant to be allows us to be lazy and disconnected from our own evolution. Saying if it's meant to be allows us to sit on the sidelines of our own lives and wait for the desire to just appear and tap us on the shoulder and say, hey, girl, remember you had said you had wanted this? Here I am. So, especially at the time that I'm recording this live, it is January 5th. Brand new year is here. And a lot of people, the collective conversation is all about goal setting and new year, new you, and doing this, that, and the third, right? And that's good. I appreciate that kind of energy. I like that kind of forward moving energy. However, what I've come to realize is that being lax about our goal setting without getting ourselves the proper tools can actually be a deterrent to us moving through the process. When we don't have what we need to make it through the journey, we get frustrated and aggravated, and we abandon the process altogether. So instead of continuing to say if it's meant to be and then let that be the end, let's say this is what I want. I'm going to go get it. If it's meant to be, I'll get it. If it's not meant to be, I'll still be okay. I recognize now that I was so afraid of being turned down on our offer that I was willing to totally step out of the process altogether. And I know some of you watching will identify with that. You are so afraid of the thing not working out. You are so afraid of the relationship not happening. You are so afraid of being turned down for the raise. You are so afraid of being told no for the job. You are so afraid of being denied the thing, whatever it is. You are so afraid of that you think you're protecting yourself by saying if it's meant to be and using that as a cover for stepping out of the process altogether. What I want you all to know that your confidence, your level of trust for yourself can support you and remind you that even if the thing doesn't happen, you will be okay. Even if the thing does happen, you'll still be okay because your identity is not attached to the thing. Your identity stands all on its own. So if you're hearing this and you know that there are some things, maybe some goals, maybe you're looking at your last vision board and you are angry, maybe a little frustrated, maybe a little resentful because none of those things has come to life in your life. But to keep the face, you say, well, if it's meant to be, it'll happen. If you recognize that in your own life right now, I want you to know that you can choose to prepare yourself in a way that would allow you to receive the thing when it shows up. You can prepare yourself to have the capacity to receive it. And even if it doesn't show up, you will still be good. That's what I want you to know. You will still be good. If it's meant to be and you prepare yourself and it happens, you'll be good. If you're telling yourself it's meant to be, but it's not, and it doesn't happen, you'll be good. So let's decide that in this year, we're going to stop using that phrase, if it's meant to be, as a cover for our fear and as an escape hatch for our responsibility. Because there are things that only you can do when it comes to the vision that you have for your life. There are some parts, some pieces to this puzzle that only you can put in place. And so when you say if it's meant to be and you fold your arms and wait, all of those other pieces might be getting aligned, but you're not. You're not showing up in the way that only you can show up. You're not showing up to add the flavor that only you can add. So that's what I want you to take away from this. Because what I know that when your confidence is growing and your trust in yourself is growing, that when you believe something is meant to be for you, you will prepare yourself for it and you will also move when the time presents itself for you to move. You won't let fear drive. You won't let self-doubt cause you to procrastinate. You won't pretend that you don't have a part to play. You'll acknowledge and own and accept your full responsibility. And you'll also know you'll be supported in knowing that even if it doesn't happen in the way you imagined it to happen, you have lost nothing. You'll still be okay. So, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I hope this conversation is helpful, is supportive for you. If you are listening to this or watching this and you want to learn how to prepare yourself on a different level for the vision that you have for your life to become real in your life, I want to invite you to register for the Confident Vision Live class. The link will be in the caption of this video. You can register for instant access and start learning how to dissect those internal conversations that are happening that are all keeping you stuck, that are all keeping you from actually achieving the things that you've laid out on your vision board, from actually achieving the goals that you've set for yourself. If it's meant to be, you will move when the time presents itself. So, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Let me know what you thought about this in the comments. I'll catch you later.